feel good. Food that sings a rainbow. Feels good to feel good. A joy to watch it grow. Glimmers all around us, so get up there and glow. Feels good to feel good, and let it show.
Hello, I'm Cheryl Meyer, otherwise known as the Health Muse, and this is class 4 in the Great Liver Rescue. What are we going to talk about today? Things that harm the liver and things that heal the liver. So this is a very important class. These are the things that I eliminated to heal my liver. And these are the things and the supplements and the foods that I ate that helped me heal my liver. So this is very important information if you are struggling with an unhealthy or a diseased liver. And I strongly recommend, even if you don't have a diseased liver, you pay attention to this and at least eat the rainbow, eat the foods that will give your body health, because you don't want to go there. You don't want the diabetes. You don't want the autoimmune diseases. You don't want the liver disease. It was a hard hole to climb out of, and it took me 10 years to reverse my chronic liver disease. So let's get started. I'm going to pull up my slides. Here we go. Things that harm the liver and then things that heal the liver, because as goes the liver, goes your health. First, let's repeat the disclaimer. I am not a doctor. I am not a healthcare professional. I'm a health coach. So the only thing that I can recommend to you is that you change your lifestyle. However, even if you're going to start taking some of the supplements and things that I talk about in these slides, I recommend you do your own research. You figure out what's right for your body, and then you go have a robust conversation with whoever your healthcare professionals are. Make sure that none of these things interact with anything else that you're doing. I don't know what you're doing, so I can't make recommendations to you. But this is really good information and a giant leap towards finding out what you need to know when you add your own research to it. Okay? So, other harmful substances for the liver. Pills. There are more than 600 medications that have been reported to cause liver injury. People seem to think that if it's a pharmaceutical or an over-the-counter drug, it's not going to hurt your body, and that is simply not true. I was allergic to aspirin, so as a child, when I needed to get my fever broken, I got acetaminophen, which is Tylenol, and when I was 18, I was very grateful because Tylenol came out in a pill form. I used Tylenol like everybody else used aspirin or ibuprofen. And when I became a young adult and I was drinking, I used to take Tylenol after drinking so that I wouldn't have a hangover. Bad move, because they interact, and I am really lucky that my body protected me and didn't give me liver failure or disease by doing those things. But Tylenol is not the only drug that interferes with your liver. The following medications have been associated with serious liver injury, and the 10 most frequently implicated drugs are amoxicillin, fluoxetine, erythromycin, diclofenac, sulfamethyl. I'm going to pronounce these all wrong. Again, I'm not a professional, so look at the words, take a picture of the screen, and see if you are using any of these medications, including ibuprofen, which is Aleve, and then acetaminophen, which is Tylenol. Taking too much Tylenol is the most common cause of acute liver failure. I was lucky somewhere in my late 20s. Finally, somebody said, stop doing that. I had already gotten monohepatitis, which then came with my body for the rest of my adult life. The mono led me to fibromyalgia because that's Epstein-Barr. And the hepatitis then started giving me liver tests that were always off, which then became fatty liver later in my life. So it's important that you don't do the things that I did when I was younger, because you don't need either of those diseases. And those diseases I have now reversed, but it took me a long time to climb out of that hole. So this also does not mean that other drugs are off the hook. Even herbal products can be tainted or just cause harm on their own. And that's why medication isn't something you or your doctor keeps tabs on, because your liver is doing something when taking so-called needed medication. Do your research. Know how that medication or that herbal substance or that supplement is going to interact with your body. And you can find all that information now that we have the internet. When I was younger, I didn't have an internet to look it all up on. So I was reading, trying to glean information. By the time I got really sick, though, the internet was there and I dug in. So ask your doctor if you need to have your liver checked as you're taking drugs. And with all drugs, use the lowest dose that is effective and use it for the shortest period of time that you can. Best of all, take care of your health with a really protective lifestyle so that you can avoid needing both prescriptive and over-the-counter medication. One other comment. I had a very close friend who used to get headaches all the time. So she used to do what she called her cocktail that helped her get through the headaches. And what was the cocktail? She used to mix a whole lot of over-the-counter drugs together. She used to take aspirin and Aleve and Tylenol all in one handful, which, yeah, got rid of the headache. But God only knows how they were interacting in her body. And I'm not close to her anymore, so I have no idea how they permanently impacted her health and her wellness. You don't want to do that. Treat pills with respect. And my current doctor, who is conventionally trained but lives holistically, has a theory that you always do the least invasive first, which also means that you take the lowest dose that is effective, and you take it for the shortest period of time. Liver and medication, the filter power. The liver is responsible to break down most of the drugs that go into your body. There is a hidden risk. Some painkillers and antibiotics stress the liver. Dosage matters. Overdose can cause liver injury. Alcohol alert. Mixing alcohol with medications could seriously harm your liver. And a doctor's role, always disclose all the meds that you take, all the supplements that you take, all the herbal things that you take, so that he knows how to keep you safe if he feels you need a prescription. The liver is responsible for sorting through chemicals in your bloodstream, including those you intentionally ingest from prescription medicines. Many medications are overprescribed today or taken incorrectly and mixed with the wrong things. Like my friend who used to put together the cocktail, the magic cocktail that God only knows what it was doing to her body. If you do take medications regularly, learn about how they affect your liver. Carefully follow dosing instructions and talk to your doctor to find out if there are any easier natural remedies that you could turn to instead, and find out if you should be checking your liver the longer you're on that medication. And understand the liver is emotionally where we deposit anger. So if you're feeling anger coming up, that could be your liver telling you something's going on. The human body acts on alcohol via the hepatic system, the liver. So taking in too much alcohol can also cause liver failure. In a similar context, Tylenol has and can cause potential hazard and damage to the liver, especially in overdose use or when taken together with alcohol. Moderation is very important, and don't mix any two substances going into your body. Several million people use acetaminophen, which is Tylenol, without a second thought because it's very effective at relieving pain, and you can just buy it over the counter. The drug toxicity and risk associated with acetaminophen caused researchers to boldly advise that NAC be added to all acetaminophen preparations. Their goal is to have makers replace the current over-the-counter acetaminophen products, including Tylenol, with a formula that also connects NAC. The rationale is to prevent accidental and intentional acetaminophen toxicity that may occur and protect your liver when you take every single dose. Unfortunately, we live in a world right now where the only time NAC or similar prescription forms of NAC are used. So if you show up at the emergency room, and then you show up at the emergency room with an overdose. So here's my suggestion. You can obviously consult with your physician to be 100% sure. Every time you take Tylenol, take a NAC supplement with it. Consider at least 600 to 1800 milligrams per day of NAC. Fill your diet with sulfur-rich foods and consider the new glutathione boosting probiotic, which is now available, called Reg Active. I used Reg Active for probably 5 years while I was healing my liver, while I kept looking for a glutathione that could get past my stomach acid. If you want to know what my history with glutathione was, I have a blog on my website, which is CherylMHealthViews.com. Read it. Taking it in a high-end supplement form went into my stomach acid, which immediately killed it. Then I talked to my functional doctor about how I needed glutathione, which is a super potent antioxidant. So she started giving me something called the Meyer's cocktail. Well, then I read that the glutathione in a Meyer's cocktail only lasts 4 hours. Yep, went into my body and still got snuffed out. So I wasn't getting the glutathione that I needed to heal my liver. Other important glutathione supporting nutrients are selenium, zinc, glycine, glutamine, alpha-lipoic acid, which we're going to spend quite a bit of time discussing, PQQ, silymarin, another place where we're going to spend some time discussing it because that's milk thistle, which is very healing to your liver, and then B complex. Prescription drug and herbal medication reactions. Substances that could cause liver failure include antibiotics, like I read, amoxicillin, erythromycin, clindamycin, anticonvulsants, and I'm going to mispronounce all of these, like carbamazepine and phenobarbital. And my father took a lot of phenobarbital because he had a very rare form of epilepsy, and he died at 63. So God only knows what those drugs were doing to his body. He was a chemist, so he did research to try to protect himself. Anticonvulsants and antidepressants like bupropion, trazodone, and fluoxetine, antifungal drugs, antihypertensive drugs, which lower your blood pressure, antipsychotic drugs, heart drugs, hormones like steroids and birth control pills. I took birth control pills from my high teens all the way into my mid 40s. Probably did all kinds of damage, and part of the reason I got liver disease. Other drugs like allopurinol to treat gout, baclofen to relax muscles. Have you ever taken muscle relaxers? Wow, I threw my back out. I took muscle relaxers, and They knocked me out for 3 days. I slept through 3 days. And when I woke up, my muscles in my back were still in trouble. So be careful of the medications that you take and make sure that they're doing what you think they're going to do for you. And then there's a cancer medication that interferes with your liver. Medicinal herbs like gerrymander and green tree extract. That was a surprise because green tea is so good for us. I would have taken that, but I wouldn't have known that it was hard on my liver. And kava is hard on your liver. Certain dietary supplements like thermogenic supplements with increased heat production inside the body so that the body fat is used for energy. When I was maybe in my early 40s, there was a drug that came out that you could go to a weight loss clinic and take, and it was a thermogenic supplement that you would take under the doctor's advice. Well, they discontinued it not too long because people were having all kinds of bad physical reactions in their body to it. Poisonous mushrooms. There are mushrooms that can cause immediate problems for the liver. It's a very rare cause of acute liver failure. Drug overdoses, taking too much antihistamine, which is Tylenol, or other medications can harm your liver. Make sure you follow the dosing instructions on the label. They're on the label for a reason. And be aware that acetaminophen might be in more than one medication that you take. So if you're taking it because you have a headache, and you're taking it because you have the flu, and you're taking it because it's a NyQuil and it helps you sleep, and all of that adds up to too much Tylenol, and that's very dangerous for your liver. Never drink, never, ever drink and take Tylenol. That's what I was doing throughout my 20s. I was lucky. I finally had a doctor that said, stop that already. It could kill you. The mixture can harm your liver. Warning signs often arise before it's too late. They include nausea, agitation, headaches, abdominal pain, and vomiting. If you're in doubt, seek professional advice or go to your emergency room or call poison control right away. Don't wait. Wine and acetaminophen, the mere ritual of drinking wine with dinner and then taking acetaminophen containing pain relievers will silently strain your liver to the point of injury. It's like a small water leak in your body until the damage is finally done. You may get diagnosed with fatty liver or diabetes or obesity. The damage is cumulative. So if you have SNPs in your DNA, which I do, I have something called MTHFR, which means, and I got it from both of my parents, so I have it from both sides in my DNA. It interferes with my methylation pathways that prevent me from fully eliminating acetaminophen and metabolites. What I learned about having the MTHFR is that what goes in my body stays in my body. So when I took any kind of over-the-counter medication as a child, it impacted me way harder than it impacted any of my friends. As an example, if I took milk of magnesia, I learned not to take the dose on the bottle, but to take a quarter of it because I would go from being constipated to immediately having diarrhea because it would impact my body so severely in comparison to everybody else. And I was following the dosage on the bottle. So read your body, feel what it's doing to you, and then react accordingly. The diagnosis is some disease related to the liver, but in reality, it could stem from alcohol or acetaminophen. And for those trying to understand this a little bit more, mitochondrial injury to the liver cells is the underlying factor. What are your mitochondria? Those are the little battery packs in every single one of your cells that gives the cell energy and then your whole body injury. So these are important. Acetaminophen is also what I call a drug mugger because it mugs the glutathione, which you produce in your body when you're younger, and then it slows down as you're older, and it mugs it right out of your body without a little help. It needs NAC in order to be made. And there's more than 600 medications on the market that contain acetaminophen, which can provoke serious adverse effects. In fact, Tylenol tops the worldwide list for drugs known to cause acute liver failure, sometimes caused by one single overdose or by therapeutic miscalculation. The latter happens when you take sleep aids, cold preparations, or plain old acetaminophen without realizing that all three had acetaminophen in it as part of the ingredient list. I am such a lucky girl that I had MTHFR, that I was taking acetaminophen when I drank wine. My body did a really good job protecting me until it couldn't. And that was luckily when I found out that I had a liver disease. In my example above, the damage could have been done quickly. By the time the correct diagnosis is made at the emergency room, up to 90% of your liver could have shut down. I am very grateful that my body did not do that. Chronic use of acetaminophen, even in regular doses, taken over a few days or a few weeks, can cause liver damage for very sensitive individuals, and it's hard to know in advance that you are. U.S. tap water is a toxic soup of man-made chemicals. The Environmental Protection Agency stunned scientists and local officials across the country by releasing new health advisories for toxic forever chemicals known to be in the thousands of U.S. water systems, impacting potentially millions of people. Shockingly, they had it all wrong when they claimed that high levels were safe. How many years have we been exposed to these substances? Now, you know what the number one forever chemical is all the stuff that leaches out of your plastic water bottles. So it's in your water, it's in your plastic water bottle, it's getting into your body and it's causing havoc. So these forever chemicals are in just about every person. And remember, they're called forever chemicals because they go into your body and they can't come out. So the health concerns are real. So stop drinking out of plastic water bottles. You're paying 1,200 times more for water that is leaching BPA, phthalates, and microplastics into your body. So it's leaching from the wall to the bottle, and then it's leaching little town round pieces of plastic into the water. So you're getting it as a double whammy. And they are endocrine disruptors, and they mimic your hormones and confuse your body, leading to weight gain and thyroid issues. So don't just drink from the tap. Tap water also has the pharmaceuticals that people have put down their toilets that have gone into your water system. They also have heavy toxic metals in them and pesticide and herbicide runoff. So get a water report from your city and then buy a filter for under your kitchen sink. I use an Aquasana. And the joy of Aquasana is you call them, you give them your zip code, and they tell you what's in your water system and what you need to protect yourself. And then clean your water and fill up your own stainless steel bottles, and then use your own pitcher to use water in your cooking. Okay? Your water can be dangerous, so this is very important. It can be as inexpensive as buying a Brita, putting it on top of your kitchen counter and filtering all your water through it. That's your first step, so you don't spend a fortune, but you have to get the crap out of the water because it's causing you a problem. What are the toxins that are making your liver sick, and what can you do about them? My book, It Feels Good to Feel Good, is available on Amazon. It won 17 awards, and it goes through what I did step by step to eliminate toxins so that I could reach the first level of starting to feel good again. And that it means adopting and eating organic, real food in cooking is super important. I consider that ground zero to getting toxins out of your body. You do not need poison with every bite of food. So eliminating anything with a word on the label that you can't pronounce or know what it is, that's a step, because All of those are causing havoc in your body. Your water is causing havoc in your body. Your personal care products are causing havoc in your body. Your skin is your largest organ. So clean up and follow what I did in that book. It is well worth the $20 to buy the book, and then follow what I did so that step by step you eliminate toxins that are adding to your toxic load so that your liver can clean out the toxins you have already put in there without putting in more, and then start to return you back to health. We went as far as purging toxic metals from my body with my functional doctor. And that was not easy. But then I also have that MTHFR thing. I had to do 5 different detoxes to get the heavy toxic metals to leave my body. And we tested in between each one. And then, hark, a year later, she tested me again, and they had been packed away in my fat and were all leaching into my body again. So I went through another heavy toxic metal detox. And then a year after that, I went through another heavy detox until finally I had gotten all the heavy toxic metals out of my body. Now, I was born in Pittsburgh. So when we tested for heavy toxic metals, it was like eureka. I had them all. I also had been a smoker. I never smoked a huge amount, maybe half a pack a day, but cadmium, which is very toxic, was one of the heavy toxic metals in my body from my smoking. So I wasn't having a reaction in my lungs, but getting that heavy toxic metal out of my system so that my liver could be healthy was huge. We also got rid of heavy toxic carpeting, and we repainted toxic walls with non-toxic paint. And we bought flooring that didn't take glue when it snapped together because the glue was toxic. So everywhere you go, there are toxins and you need to clean them up. So your processed foods, your refined sugar. Refined sugar is worse on your body than cocaine, and it lights up your brain the same way. So you don't need refined sugar. And 4 grams of sugar equals 1 entire teaspoon. So if you're drinking something like a Coke or a Pepsi that has 20 grams of sugar in it, you are consuming 5 teaspoons worth of refined sugar, all of which is making you sick. High amounts of fructose does it. Alcohol turns to sugar. That does it. Refined seed oils, which are your corn, your soy, your canola, your vegetable oils, safflower oils. Yeah, they're not good for you. And they also all have Bt toxin in them, which goes up through the seed plant and then gets into your gut. When it's in your gut, it cleates all your vitamins and your minerals back out of your body. Not a good thing. And have you noticed how we have way more allergies today and all our kids have tons of allergies and they become more severe? Well, that's because of Bt toxin and the seed oils that's in everything. Trans fatty acids, conventionally raised animal products, they're eating corn. The corn has the refined seed oil. Genetically modified fruits, I just went through that. Artificial sweeteners, the yellow, the pink, and the blue packet are really harsh on your body and they're poisoning you. The blue packet is a neurotoxin. I don't know about you, but I plan to take my brain with me all the way to the end. The yellow packet kills all your good gut bacteria. You need your good gut bacteria because the gut is the beginning of chronic illness. So you don't need the yellow packet in your gut. And then there's the pink packet does all kinds of havoc to your body too. They're all poison. Do not use artificial sweeteners and stop using refined sugars. And then excessive caffeine. I have 1 cup of coffee a day. I drink organic coffee because it's a very dirty crop. And I buy my coffee from a company that does everything right. It doesn't kill the birds when I harvest them. And by being organic, it's not killing the people who are harvesting it either. So you don't need more than 1 cup. Excessive caffeine is also very hard on your liver. It takes time to empty a toxic bucket that has been filling up for decades. It took me 5 years to remove all the toxins in my life and for me to start to feel better because my body began to heal. Your body is miraculous and it wants to heal, but stop the assault of frankenfoods, switch to organic, clean up your beauty and home products systematically, manage your stress, which impacts every organ system in your body, and support that beautiful, hard-working liver. Let's talk about your beauty products and your cleaning products and everything that has a smell. That ad where they're smelling their fragrance and their soap products that they're doing their laundry in. I go crazy because they're poisoning themselves every time they do that. So let's talk about those. You need to look them all up. You need to know what's in them. You need to pick items that are much lower in toxins. But after you know that you're not supposed to use that in your house, get it out of your house because it continues to off gas in your home, which means it continues to poison you. I have a great article on that in my magazine, Feeling Good, that is available for free on Issue. Learn about toxins from a toxin expert that created a cleaning product that are plant enzymes, which means it does your body no harm. It took me 10 years, 5 years to get my toxic bucket down and 10 years to reverse my fatty liver. But I did it and it's now healthy and happy. See, there's my happy liver. And I was eating the rainbow the whole time as well, which helped heal it. The importance of opening up the flow of lymph in your body. Now, your liver goes through your blood and cleans all the toxins out of it and then dumps it over so that it can be removed from your body as poop. If you don't poop and you're constipated all the time, it recirculates it. So it's got to go through the whole process all over again. And trust me, you got enough toxins going through your liver the first time, you don't need them to go through a second time. What does the lymph system do? The heart system has a pump. That's your heart. The lymph system is as extensive as your circulatory system, but it doesn't have a pump. But what it does is it goes around and picks up the trash around every single cell in your body. And then that goes into your liver to go out for your poop again. So if you're not pooping, it also recirculates and ends up going back through the lymph system and back to the cells and all of that. Take a picture of the slide because that's a way to keep your flow of your lymph system going. I do a manual lymph massage every night in the bathtub because I can reach my ankles, and they'll tell you to start at the bottom and work up, whether you're dry brushing or you're doing a manual massage. This is where the traffic jam is. So I relieve the traffic jam by massaging around my breastbone and my collarbone first. Then I do my head, and then I work down my body, and then I do this area again so that all of the toxins that I had flow back up can flow back out through these through the lymph system that's here. So you know what happens when you have a car jam at a toll booth and it backs up, you get very frustrated. Well, the same thing happens with your lymph. So clear out the traffic jam first. Other ways to clear up lymphatic congestion: deep breathing. I do Dr. Andrew Weil's 4-7-8 breath twice a day. It relieves chronic stress and resets my parasympathetic nervous system. It also is really great to relieve my lymphatic congestion. You can look that up right on YouTube and do it with Dr. Weil. He is the man who was the first integrative doctor and started the whole integrative movement that doctors practice all over the country. You have to have optimal hydration, but your water needs to be clear. I try to drink 64 ounces of water a day of my filtered water. Regular exercise and rebounding is super important. Sometimes If I feel like I'm slowing down and my head is getting fuzzy, I'll stand right next to my desk and just bounce for 3 minutes. That's really good for my lymphatic system. It sends all the blood to my brain and clears my fog and makes me far more productive. Dry brushing and healing baths and manual massage all help lymphatic congestion. Massage therapy, you can find a masseuse who knows how to do lymph massage. Alternating showers, I'm not fond of that because I don't like to be under cold water, but cold to hot helps your lymph system a lot. And then finally, saunas are really good because you sweat, and that's good for your lymph system. Drainage is a less trendy word that's essential to allow your body to eliminate the toxins that the detoxification process produces. It's only when the elimination pathways are working efficiently that you can start the detoxification process. People ask me all the time, how do I detox my liver? What chemical can I use or supplement can I use? If you haven't eliminated all the toxins going into your body, don't bother. Start by lowering your bucket load by eliminating all the toxins that are going in. That's the best thing you can do for your body because your liver can detox on its own, but you got to stop putting all of the poisons in. Drainage acts on 3 levels: organs, tissues, and cells. And your primary drainage pathways are your colon, your liver, your gallbladder and bile ducts, your kidney and your bladder, your lungs, and your skin. Secondary drainage pathways are fascia and the lymph system. Now, fascia is if you're making a whole chicken and you raise up the skin, there's like a cellophane layer between the skin and the meat of the chicken. That's fascia. You have a fascia system over every inch of your body underneath the skin, and then the lymph system is right underneath that. The lymphatic system is your lymph system in your brain, your mucous membranes, which are in your nasal passages, your urogenital, gastrointestinal, and respiratory tracts. Fatty liver and constipation. Liver inflammation is fatty liver. It causes digestive issues. Infrequent bowel movements make hard stools. The gut-liver axis, they communicate with each other and they can affect each other. IBS is where the fatty liver disease is more common, and constipation predominant irritable bowel syndrome. Now, one of the 3 autoimmune diseases I got was IBS. I got fibromyalgia, which attacked every muscle and every joint in my body. I got Hashimoto's, which meant that I wasn't producing enough T3s and T4s for my thyroid hormone to work properly. And then I got IBS, which meant I went from constipation to diarrhea to constipation to diarrhea. If I get constipated and I finally can go, then almost always right behind it, I'm going to be diuretic. And they're both not good for you. So you need to be pooping after every meal. And so eating fiber, eating a lot of leafy greens, all of that is good to keep you regularly. I'm also using something called Seed, which is a prebiotic and a probiotic, which keep my gut healthy, which then helps me poop. The ad that they had for that was really funny because she was challenged with her pooping and poop sensitive. So you don't want to be that. So take a good pre and probiotic. Now, what's a prebiotic? A prebiotic are foods that feed your probiotics that are in your gut. They're things like onions and garlic and artichokes and asparagus. All of those are prebiotics and they go into your gut and they're hungry little devils in there. Those little bacteria that help you digest your food. So you be feeding them on a regular basis so that you are a healthy digestive system. So if you're taking Seed, you're adding extra probiotics and prebiotics into your system so you're digesting better, and then you poop more regularly and more often. I have a chart in here about that. The shocking link between constipation and your liver that no one talks about, the gut-liver connection. Your liver and your gut constantly talk to each other through something called the gut-liver axis. When your liver is overlooked, like with a fatty liver or with toxins, then your gut slows down. And boom, constipation, bloating, and sluggish digestion kick in. If I am constipated, I get an upset stomach. It's all connected. Fatty liver and stubborn constipation, inflammation, poor bile flow, and insulin resistance all make your gut sluggish. That's why so many with fatty liver also battle with constipation, no matter how much water or fiber they eat. When it gets serious in advanced liver issues like cirrhosis and poor bile production, it makes your digestion crawl. Chronic constipation isn't just uncomfortable. It can trigger dangerous complications, which is when the toxins start to reach the brain. So be very careful. Do not allow yourself to stay constipated. Shared triggers: poor diet, low fiber, sitting too much, obesity, certain meds all hurt both your liver and your butt. Fix them and fix both organs at once. Let's talk about poops. Bottoms up. More than 20% of the population has gas, constipation, diarrhea, or some combination every week. If you're not pooping after every meal, your system is not working properly, and the lymph and the liver toxins cannot leave your body. So we're going to talk about how your poop should look and whether or not you're actually pooping properly after every meal. Your pooping schedule should be consistent from day to day. How your poop smells will vary, and how it smells is not necessarily a sign of poor health. However, straining, abdominal pain, spasm, those are all indicators that something is wrong. So here's my poop chart. This is the cutest one I could find. If you're pooping in rabbit pellets, that's not a good thing. See, that's an unhappy poop. If you are pooping in big, old, long logs, that's not a good thing. If you are pooping in thick and bumpy sausages, you're still unhappy. If you have smooth and mushy snakes, that's a happy poop. If you have mushy blobs, that's a happy poop. If you have lumpy gravy, however, you've crossed over towards diarrhea. And that is the same problem, just from the other end. And then if you have diarrhea, that's not a good thing. So when you experience constipation, the weight products that accumulate upstream have no place to go. This accumulated toxicity can also impact the amount and type of bacteria in your digestive tract. Let me make this small again. We'll let it be. What happens during dysbiosis? That's when the bacteria start accumulating toxicity in your gut and your lower intestine. An overgrowth of gram-negative bacteria actually release endotoxins that lead to inflammation of the gut lining, which is known as leaky gut. Compounds produced in the gut then seep into your systematic circulation and cause inflammation. Not a good thing. Unfortunately, more than 16 out of 100 people struggle with some form of bowel irregularity on a weekly basis, and oxidative stress increases in your body. Constipation is defined as having 3 or less bowel movements a week, with symptoms including dry, hard stools, this area of this, pain while pooping, and inadequate emptying. So if you're not pooping all the way out, you've got a problem. On the opposite end, and you're experiencing diarrhea, don't think you're in the clear because the stool volume might have increased, but the consistency does not provide the same benefits as a healthy stool. Both are signs of an unhealthy gut and impair your drainage abilities. Why this is a big deal? Because poor liver function increases your risk of autoimmune diseases, which is Hashimoto's, lupus, MS, etc., cancer, dementia, diabetes, heart problems, hormone imbalances, thyroid problems, and skin issues. Who knew that not pooping properly would cause poor liver function that would cause all these diseases? Why liver conditions commonly cause itching? Because too much fat is stored in the liver cells, and hepatitis or liver inflammation develops, cirrhosis or liver scarring develops, and liver congestion due to poor drainage and inflammation and lymphatic stagnation. Often the itching is worse on your hands and feet and limbs and may get worse at night when your bile levels rise. Your skin and liver are deeply connected. So if you're itching and you can't quite explain why your lymph and liver might just be whispering or yelling at you for attention, they're telling you that you got a problem and you need to fix it. And one of the things that I am huge on is listening to your body and hearing what it's saying to you because it's very smart. Fatty liver used to be called NAFLD. Now it's called MESLD, metabolic dysfunction associated liver disease, or MASH, metabolic dysfunction associated steatohepatitis. Why the change? The new name emphasizes the strong link to metabolic dysfunction like insulin resistance, obesity, and type 2 diabetes. Why it matters? Because it progresses silently from MASH to cirrhosis to liver failure. Good news, lifestyle changes work. Diet, exercise, sleep habits, weight loss can reverse liver damage, especially if you've caught it early. Now, you probably know I've lost 80 pounds just by eating real organic colors of the rainbow foods. So that helped me get rid of all of the diseases that I had discovered I had in my body. And there's new hope on the horizon because there are new medications that have been studied for liver disease. I'm taking not Wegovy, not Ozempic. I'm taking something else. There are several. Talk to your doctor so that he will make the right recommendation for you. Okay? Oxidative stress and antioxidants. Antioxidants work against free radicals. Free radicals create cancer. So you want to make sure the whole system is working correctly. Symptoms of liver imbalance. Waking up between 1 and 3 o'clock in the morning. Teeth grinding. I've been grinding my teeth since I was a small child. My parents told me I used to raise the dead every night in my sleep. So I don't think I had a liver imbalance when I was a small child. But as we learned, I did have an awful lot of toxic chemicals and metals in my system. So maybe I did. Headaches, tendinitis, anger, frustration, irritability, feeling stuck, difficulty making decisions, and fatigue. Those are all symptoms of liver imbalance. How to balance your liver? Eat leafy greens and all the other colors of the rainbow, I might add. Movement, acupuncture, Chinese herbs, practice forgiveness. Now, you don't do that to forgive so that the other person knows they're forgiven. You practice forgiveness so that you let go of that stress that's been building in you for all those years. You let it go. Castor oil packs. There are new castor oil packs on the market that come in their own little pouch. So you put a castor oil pack in this little pouch and you hook it around your waist, right over your liver, and then it goes through your skin and into your liver, helping it to heal. So much more convenient than trying to put towels soaked in oil on your body and getting it everywhere that you don't want it to go. Cut back on your alcohol. I stopped drinking altogether, and trust me, I don't miss it. Epsom salt baths. I can't take those anymore because we have a well, so the well can't handle the Epsom salt baths. But if you can take them, they are so good for you. They will relax you so that you sleep through the night, and they add magnesium to you through your skin. Drink warm lemon water. I put lemon in all the water that I drink, and it turns to alkaline in my gut, which helps my digestion. And then spring clean. Get rid of all the toxins in your house. Okay, things that help the liver. Again, you know that I'm not a doctor, so if you're going to choose to take any of these things, do your research and make sure he knows that you're adding them to your daily routine. Things that support the liver so that it can heal. See all the cutlers here? All these healthy foods? Eat them. Liver supporting nutrients are super important. Proper functioning of the detoxification pathways in the liver requires certain nutrients, and getting these nutrients through foods and targeted supplementation is important to support your liver health. So when you're going to be doing liver detoxification, you want to be eating all the colors of the rainbow, because they're going to start putting all of the good minerals and vitamins into your system. Then there are toxins that are water-soluble forms that you want, which are your selenium, your magnesium, your vitamin B12. Vitamin A is water-soluble, which comes from carrots and orange fruits and vegetables. And then phase 3 of the liver detoxification process is enzymatic process, where the toxins are diverted for excretion. The nutrients that are required for phases 1 and 2 are also required for phase 3 as well. So start eating all the colors of the rainbow so that your liver can detoxify itself. Take vitamin C. Now, don't drink orange juice because it's loaded with sugar. You want to get it from the orange itself or from a really high quality supplementation, because it supports and strengthens the liver. Vitamin C helps to prevent fat accumulation in the liver, which leads to fatty liver disease. You don't want fat to accumulate in your liver, and the vitamin C helps it stop that. It helps prevent gallstones. Gallbladder needs vitamin C to convert cholesterol into bile acids. Vitamin C boosts the body's ability to dietary fat, to process dietary fat. High levels of fat cause bile acid produced by the liver to be stored in the gallbladder. This causes the gallbladder to become oversaturated with cholesterol. And then that cholesterol in the bile eventually hardens into gallstones. You don't want gallstones, they're very painful. So it's been found that vitamin C offers protection against gallbladder disease by cutting the risk of gallstones. Now, lots of doctors seem to think that your gallbladder is a throwaway organ. You don't get any throwaway organs. Every single organ in your body is there for a reason, including your gallbladder. Even your appendix has a reason to be in your body. I got mine removed a long time ago. It was in my early 20s when mine got infected and blew up. And so they had to take it out, and then they had to get all the sepsis out of my middle cavity that it had blown into there. I almost died, but I was lucky I did not. But I read not too long ago, the reason we have an appendix when we're born is because it gets a full set of all the gut bacteria, that good gut bacteria that we need in our stomach to digest our food. So it has a duplicate group of all those gut bacteria in your appendix. And so I don't have that anymore. So it's probably a good thing I'm using seed to keep my gut really healthy. The presence of vitamin C in cranberries accelerates the production of glutathione, which is needed by the liver during the detoxification process. Research at a University of Michigan medical school has shown that vitamin C protects your liver. Even doses as low as 500 milligrams daily prevents fatty buildup and cirrhosis. 5,000 milligrams of vitamin C a day actually appears to flush fats from the liver, and it cuts liver damage. So taking vitamin C at higher doses for liver damage results in patients feeling better. It also helps you heal hepatitis A, B, and C to respond to high doses of vitamin C. Now, I had something called monohepatitis, so vitamin C helped me heal all of that. Don't go taking huge, high qualities of any vitamin without your doctor's approval. Eating fat turns off the fat production factory in your liver. So, nope, it doesn't make you have a fatty liver. And hopefully, if you're eating fat and you're cutting the fat production factory in your liver, you're never going to need to have a liver transplant. Considering that the fatty liver is caused by too much sugar and carbs, it's now the most common liver disease and the leading cause of the liver transplant. And cutting the carbs and boosting the saturated fats is part of the solution. Now, back in the 90s, the sugar companies went to Stanford and Harvard and had them do a study, but they told them what they wanted the result to be. What they wanted the result to be was that sugar was not the culprit of your ill health, that fat was the culprit of your ill health. And you'll probably remember all the Snackwell products that came out down then because they had the sugar in them, but not the fat. Ends up that was all gaslighting. And so, no, you don't want to eat the sugar. And yes, you do want the good fats. You don't want the omega-6 fats that have the Bt toxin in them, but you do want the omega-3 and the omega-9 fats, which come from avocado oil, olive oil, coconut oil. Some of your nut oils are good for your body. You need all those because they're super healthy for you and they keep your liver running very well. So there's fats you do want to have and cook with and fats you don't want to have in your body and cook with. Things that will support your liver so that it can heal. Eating the rainbow, number one, of organic food because you don't want poison with every bite and you want to eat them as close to the farm as possible. Why is that? Because things like spinach lose as many as 30% of their goodies within 3 days of being harvested. So you want to get the most goodies from all those colors as you possibly can into your body. Eliminate harmful foods, which are all your ultra processed foods, your processed foods, and things that have words on the box that you don't know what they are or that you can't pronounce. Eliminating toxins in all aspects of your life. And then we come down to the alpha-lipoic acid, which we're going to talk about next, the NAC, which is the precursor to glutathione. What I actually found that actually started getting more glutathione into my body, milk thistle, dandelion, healthy chocolate, and vitamin C. All are super healthy foods for your liver and super healthy supplementation for your liver. Things that also support your liver are healthy fats, vitamin D, choline, curcumin. Curcumin is the active ingredient in turmeric. I take it also for pain. I take 2 every morning and 2 every night so that it reduces inflammation and it takes care of any pain I might have in my body. And when I get a headache now, I don't take Tylenol. I take curcumin. It's something that is good for every organ in my body. And by the way, I take quercetin, which is nature's natural antihistamine, and it's good for every single cell in my body as well. Nature's pharmacy. The carotenoids are orange fruits and vegetables. They are fat soluble, vitamin A, they're really good for you. Fennel is really good for you. The onion family, garlic, leeks. Leeks are super good for you. Shallots, um, green onions, white onions, purple onions, all of that stuff is really good for your body. Now, if you're going to be cooking with your garlic, you need to chop it up and let it sit for 5 minutes so that all its chemicals can work together so that when it goes into heat, it doesn't lose it and you get the full benefit of the chemical reaction that goes on in that item. Artichokes, related to milk thistle and really good for you because they are prebiotics that feed all your probiotics in your gut. Cruciferous vegetables are your broccoli, your cauliflower, your kale, your bok choy, your cabbages. All of that supports your liver so that it can heal. Your seeds and nuts, flax, pumpkin, sunflower, and almond seeds are super good for you, but you don't want to buy them in an omega-6 oil. So I tend to buy them organic and raw, and then I dry roast them in a pan and add just a touch of butter to them, grass-fed, grass-finished pastured butter, so that they get the flavor, and then I put a little sea salt on them. So I actually salt them myself and put them in oil myself. Chlorella is a green plant that converts sunlight into something your body can use. Super good for you. Dates are sweet and in moderation. They're really good for your gut and they don't harm your body with their sweetness. You can actually throw them in your Vitamix and use them in your cooking by making like a syrup out of them. They're super good for you. Castor oil, we already talked about. You want to get a castor pack and put it near your liver. Magnesium and vitamin D work together. If you're taking one, you need to be taking the other. So take them both. And magnesium is attached to different salts. So I take a magnesium that has 3 different kinds of magnesium in it. It's called trimagnesium, and it's by Integrative Laboratories, which I buy on Amazon. I get 3 different magnesiums. One helps me sleep, one helps me poop. I don't know what the other one does, but they're really good. And together with vitamin D, they keep me healthy. And you need magnesium because 500 different enzyme reactions depend upon you taking magnesium and having enough in your body and vitamin D. And most of us are sorely missing enough magnesium and vitamin D to maintain health. So if you're not taking a magnesium supplement and you're not getting into sunlight half an hour every morning so that you're resetting your circadian rhythm and you're taking vitamin D as a supplement, they need each other. So that's important. But tell your doctor that you're taking them. Vitamin E is really good for your liver. Another one that you need to keep your body humming properly. There's your Epsom salt bath again, and sleep. You need 7 hours of sleep every night. That 6th to 7th hour is when your brain sweeps all the plaque out that will eventually cause you dementia. And if when you're sleeping, you think your body's sleeping, you are incorrect. It's really important to get that much sleep because your body's doing a full tune-up when you're sleeping in the middle of the night. And your adrenals are what is orchestrating that complete tune-up. So get enough sleep so that when you wake up in the morning, you're not fatigued and you feel like $1 million. Dietary fat actually turns off the fat production factory in your liver. So that is not the reason that you get a fatty liver. You see, unlike carbohydrates and protein, dietary fat does not trigger your pancreas to secrete insulin. And protein is great because it releases the sugar it produces over a long period of time. When I got hypoglycemia in my 20s, which is low blood sugar, I learned to eat protein at regular intervals because it released small amounts of sugar into my blood and kept me in balance. What I didn't know is since I had hypoglycemia in my 20s, I was very likely to get diabetes in my 60s, which is exactly what happened. So carbohydrates, now some vegetables are carbohydrates too. You don't want to eliminate all carbohydrates. You want to get the ones that come from nature, but you don't want anything white, white sugar, white flour. Um, all of those things turn instantly into sugar, and they are as bad as getting cane sugar and beet sugar and fructose into your body, which will put your liver and your pancreas out of balance and secrete insulin and stress out your liver. Your body prefers to burn rather than store dietary fat. So unless you combine it with carbs, when you eat the right fat, you increase your metabolism, stimulate your fat burning, and decrease your hunger. The other thing with ultra-processed food that I learned that I didn't know is you have two hormones I never heard of called ghrelin and leptin. If you're eating ultra-processed food, it's turning off all your hormone production. And what do those two hormones do? They notify your brain that you're not hungry anymore. So if they're not working properly, you keep eating because your brain keeps going more, more, more. I used to eat a huge Thanksgiving dinner and then be in the kitchen picking on the pumpkin pie. And I think, how can I still be hungry? I just ate this enormous dinner. Well, I was hungry because my body wasn't getting the signal to stop eating the heck out of more food because I was full to the gills. And when you keep eating, you have extra calories, which then start becoming fat around your cells, around your heart, around your liver. You need your hormones, leptin and ghrelin, to work properly. So cut out your processed carbs, cut out your ultra processed food, increase your healthy fat intake, especially saturated fats from healthy foods like coconut and grass-fed beef. They're your omega-3s. And what's an omega-9? That's avocado oil. They recommend you eat half an avocado a day because it's so good for your body. I also cook in avocado oil. Um, Olive oil is not necessarily good to cook in because it has a very low burn point and then it oxidizes and causes havoc in your body. So avocado is my oil of choice. A lot of people that I know, a lot of health coaches use coconut oil to do their cooking. I don't like the smell of coconut oil when it's cooking my food, so I use avocado oil instead. Healthy saturated fats lower inflammation when you eat them as part of a low carb, high fiber, omega-3 fatty acid rich diet. Okay, now we're getting to the supplements that can really help your body heal your liver. As you add these to your roster, make sure you tell your medical doctor that you've added them. The first one is alpha-lipoic acid. The very first multiple doctor seminar that I took on healing my liver, there was a guy who was doing liver transplants. He'd gone through medical school, he'd become a medical doctor, but they kept coming back and he was having to do things to repair their liver 2 and 3 and 4 times. And he started using alpha-lipoic acid instead to heal the liver in large amounts. The hospital was really upset because liver transplants were a big cash cow for them. So he left being a doctor. He went back to school. He became a PhD in metabolic biology, and he opened up a clinic in La Cruces, New Mexico, right on the border of Texas. And he used alpha-lipoic acid to heal really diseased livers. Now, in doing this class, I just looked him up again. He was a great person to listen to. And unfortunately, last fall, when he opened up his new clinic, he also passed away. But his son took up and became a doctor and is now continuing to run the clinic with this protocol because so many hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people have been helped with alpha-lipoic acid. I told you to take Reginald, which has alpha-lipoic acid and glutathione and NAC in it. I took that for years until I finally got my liver healed, but I also found a way to get glutathione, which we're going to talk about in a minute. It enhances how your body can use its vitamin C and its vitamin E, so they all work together to create health in your body. It aids in moisture retention, and it leaves your skin looking more youthful and supple. Now, I'm 77. People constantly talk about how great my skin looks, and it's because I use this as a supplement and glutathione and vitamin C and vitamin E. The health benefits of alpha-lipoic acid. It supports healthy blood sugar. It improves your detoxification process. It supports your brain health. It improves your skin health. It supports healthy inflammation. And the big reason, da 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 da, is it will help heal your liver. That doesn't mean you stop eating cruciferous vegetables. And you keep taking your NAC and your glutathione and your vitamin C, that alpha-lipoic acid ties it all together so that your liver can get well. ALA recycles all your other antioxidants. So it's super important because it increases the production of vitamin C, vitamin E, glutathione, and several enzymes that exhibit antioxidant-like behavior that have been found in association with the availability of ALA in the body. Researchers found that these antioxidants are consistently depleted if the body is suffering. But when antioxidant levels are low or diminished, oxidative stress wreaks havoc on your cellular pathways and all the organs of the body. So the ALA supports the production of antioxidants, and it's not fully understood how it works, but glutathione and ALL are the key antioxidants that you need in your body. It's so important for the liver. Alpha-lipoic acid is an antioxidant cofactor that is synthesized in mitochondria that can help stimulate nerves and regenerate nerve fibers. So that's also super important. And it comes in various forms from food itself, but as we get older, we're not making enough of it. So alpha-lipoic acid is 1,000 times greater in a supplemental form than it is when you get it from foods. And you convert less of it the older that you get, which is why supplementation is so important. If you're juicing vegetables, you don't necessarily have to take a supplement because you're getting so many antioxidants in the juice, and you want the juice with the fiber. So you want to be doing it in your blender and not in a juicer. What's so great about ALA? It repairs damage done between the cell and the nerve, which is known as the myelin sheath. Now, if you are somebody who has MS, your myelin sheath has been impacted. So you need it so that you can heal your body. The benefits from ALA cofactors are for those who suffer from anxiety, nerve pain, neuropathy, and those who suffer from depression, chronic fatigue, and adrenal exhaustion. I had adrenal exhaustion when I got sick. So I had to learn how to control my stress. I got so stressed being chased by a tiger 24/7 that my cortisol rose as high as it could, and then I used it all up until I dropped down to nothing. I was on the verge of Addison's disease, so I had to learn to breathe. I had to learn how to reset my parasympathetic nervous system in order to take care of my body and heal, and to have enough ALA and glutathione so that I could do that. That's precisely why juicing carrots as a base is of particular importance in concentrated forms in freshly made vegetable juices. The absorption of ALA is valuable because it's bathed in compounds and nutrients that deliver it to your cells, notwithstanding the power of the enzymes, which are known as the catalysts that make everything come alive. What is alpha-lipoic acid? It has something in it called thiol. And thiol comes from asparagus, bok choy, cabbage, cauliflower, chives, leeks, peas, onions, sauerkraut, eggs, garlic, and shallots. Those are all super important. And the leading expert, functional doctor on MS, she got MS herself. She was told she was only going to live a few more months. She had little children. So she was a professor of medicine at the University of Iowa. She started sending her kids to go bring books back from the library. She came up with her own protocol. Her name is Dr. Wahl, W-A-H-L. Her son just ran for office in Iowa, by the way. She is a huge believer in eating organ meat, kidney, heart, liver from grass-fed, grass-finished animals. Why grass-fed, grass-finished animals? Because they're eating what they were put on this earth to eat. They have two stomachs. They can't be eating corn because it makes them diseased. That's not what their body wants to be fed. They want to live their entire life on grass, and it goes through their double gut system. So supplement dose size can range from 50 to 600 milligrams a day, depending upon the desired therapeutic effect you want to get. And as with any dietary supplement, speak to your healthcare provider to learn if an ALA dietary supplement is right for you. I took mine with the blessing of my functional doctor. Life-saving potential of alpha-lipoic acid is one of the most powerful nutrients to reduce inflammation and stabilize blood sugar. The scientific world is finally becoming aware of the crucial relationship between dietary habits and chronic disease. Why don't they know about it right from the beginning? Because they go through medical school. And medical school is run by the pharmaceutical companies. So if you're healing yourself with something like alpha-lipoic acid, you're not going to take the drug they want you to take. Now, I am not anti-pharmaceuticals. They will help you mitigate symptoms while you do the things that will help your body heal itself. So you really need both. So talk to your doctor about things that you're going to do and then do your own research. And I have used both functional doctors and naturopaths to help me in my healing journey because I get different points of view from both sides of the health group. The Institute for Cancer Research, Dr. Mel Greaves, weighs into the debate and proposes that genetic factors contribute no greater than 10% to the development of cancer, citing environmental factors for 90% of the blame. That's also what Dr. Bruce Lipton discovered. It's not what's in your genetics, it's what's in your environment that determines whether or not you get disease. ALA in the diet gives you the ability to prevent and treat nutrition-related chronic diseases. ALA is sometimes referred to as lipoic acid, and it's a powerful antioxidant with key potential to unlock various health-promoting capabilities. There is now clear evidence that if you are yet to make ALA-containing foods a staple of your diet, start immediately. It supports detoxification and the Integrative Medical Center. Now that's what Dr. That you're going to watch for your breathing exercises. Dr. Wahl, he will, the Integrative Medical Center in New Mexico is a primary location that's using alpha-lipoic acid, ALA, for liver disease. And it was founded by Dr. Burton Bergstrom and is now being run by his son. And I'm so glad it didn't go away when the dad died. I am proud of the son for picking up the ability to heal people using this supportive mechanism. And it has no downside. And then they also are using something called low-dose naltrexone. Naltrexone is a drug that was developed in Europe for alcoholics so that they could detox off of the alcohol. Then they discovered in very low doses, it also really helped pain for people who had autoimmune diseases like I did, like fibromyalgia. It was a giant mother may I step back to a pain-free life when I started taking low doses of naltrexone. So if you have a lot of pain and you know you have an autoimmune disease that's causing it, talk to your doctor about getting naltrexone. There is also a Facebook group run by an expert in naltrexone, so start to follow it and ask questions. NAC, you know, is the precursor to creating glutathione in your body. It stands for N-acetyltyrosine, not pronouncing it right, and it's a potent antioxidant and a precursor to glutathione, making it highly effective for supporting liver health. So with ALA and with NAC and with glutathione, you've got all the pieces of the puzzle that will start to heal your liver. Whether it's acute liver failure, non-alcoholic fatty liver, alcoholic fatty liver, acetaminophen poisoning, all of that is helped by those natural things you can get through food and from supplements. NAC helps liver detoxification and protection. I take it from Integrative Therapeutics, and they have very high quality supplements in everything they do. There is also a new app called Supco, SUPCO, that you need to get that app on your phone, which will tell you whether the supplement you are taking has downsides to it or icky ingredients in it. They love integrative therapeutics, so NAC is necessary to make and replenish your glutathione, but it's also been shown to increase nitric oxide, which is for your heart. And remember, I told you, as goes liver disease, goes your heart disease. Well, NAC is made by the human liver, and it directly helps the heart. So they work together to help you be a healthier person. The health benefits of glutathione is it will help you heal fatty liver disease. They support healthy growth and repel of every cell. And remember, I was taking it as a supplement, and my stomach acid was killing it. Then I was getting it as intravenously, and it was still disappearing within 4 hours. Well, I needed it, and I knew I needed it. And when I finally found a way to get it to my cells was when I finally began to heal my fatty liver. And I did it with a product by Numi that you put in your mouth, you swish it around, it goes through your cheeks and into your blood, goes directly to your brain and gets picked up in your blood and delivered to every cell in your body. And so it finally, because it was a nanoparticle, got the glutathione to my liver that helped it heal. And if you're interested in trying it, go to my blog, in my blog on my website, and there's a link there where you can buy it with me as your host. And the reason they do that is somebody's selling it on Amazon in their bottle, but it's not their stuff. It's not their nano recipes. So they also make a face spray, which I use, which is another reason my skin looks so good. I strongly recommend Numi Glutathione. It was a lifesaver. It comes in a blue bottle, it comes in a white bottle. The white is for your skin, the blue is for all your other cells, and it healed my liver, I swear to God, and it made my other cells really healthy. Okay, now we come to milk thistle. You can see how it kind of looks like an artichoke. It is related to the artichoke. It's a plant whose fruit and seeds have been used for more than 2,000 years as a treatment for liver and bile disorders. The active substance is silymarin. Remember, it came up on an earlier slide. And that's a complex mixture of flavonolignin. Silymarin's primary constituents are the flavolignin, silymarin, and their flavonoid precursor, hexafloin. In the literature, the mixture of silibins A and B are often referred to as silibinum. Laboratory studies demonstrate that silymarin stabilizes cellular regeneration of liver tissue. inhibits the growth of certain cells that cause cancer, and possibly increases the efficacy of certain chemotherapy agents. So if you are struggling from any kind of cancer, milk thistle is fabulous, but it also has been proven to help heal livers. There are very few adverse side effects for milk thistle, but little information about interactions with anti-cancer medications, which are constantly changing and improving, or radiation therapies or other drugs that's actually been studied and is available. So tell your doctor, again, when you're taking milk thistle, and do your own research. It is available as a dietary supplement, and it's in that regenerative pill that I was taking that got me the glutathione, the NAC, and the milk thistle all in one pill, all going to my liver. And I took it also as individual supplements. Milk thistle helps your bile flow. It strengthens your intestinal lining. It supports your pancreas, lungs, cervix, and prostate. It protects your kidneys from oxidative stress, and it improves your liver detoxification pathways. Research shows that milk thistle extracts are non-toxic inhibitors to cancer cell cycles, effectively blocking cancer growth. In addition to its direct anti-cancer effects, milk thistle silymarin compounds also reduce damage to the heart and the liver from chemotherapy drugs. I don't know if you're aware of this, but if you're taking chemotherapy, often later down the line, there's heart issues because of the chemotherapy. So taking milk thistle will help protect your heart from the chemotherapy drug. Then there's dandelion green. You know, those weeds that grow all over your lawn that they're putting poison on, which is killing you to kill. You need the dandelions. I love dandelions. Bees love the dandelions. Butterflies love the dandelions. But it's known as a bitter, and it reduces stress on your liver and supports its ability to produce bile. It also helps the liver filter potentially harmful chemicals out of your food. The herb helps the body safely detoxify pesticides. So by all means, we should be using a poisonous pesticide called Roundup to kill it, because it will detoxify that pesticide out of your body. Dandelion root works primarily through the liver and the gallbladder. It stimulates bile production in the liver and encourages the gallbladder to contract and release that stored bile that can eventually become bile stones. Research has revealed that dandelion root carries a powerful array of naturally occurring antioxidants, which enhance your liver detoxification. Dandelion greens neutralize free radicals and minimize oxidative stress on the body, and can promote systemic inflammation. The nutrients and antioxidants found in the wild dandelion is an indispensable aid for liver detoxification. It helps with feelings of fullness, chronic constipation, poor fat digestion, and I can tell you, it's also a diuretic, so it helps the flow of your lymph. Used in moderation, it's a wonderful detoxifying agent without being harsh. So you should be drinking dandelion tea. I take 1 stopper full of dandelion extract every day to keep my lymph system flowing. This is all extra information because it's a natural multi-target defense against type 2 diabetes. It's really good for the body. Here's your dandelion root tea and all the things that it does. Dandelion supports your liver health, provides antioxidants. Antioxidants kill cancer cells, may help control your blood sugar, and promote heart health. So most homeowners hate dandelion as it populates yards every spring, but this flower and its root is actually packed with vitamins and minerals. Don't just go picking the weed, because it probably has all kinds of environmental toxins on it. It is a natural diuretic, allowing your liver to more quickly eliminate toxins. It helps strengthen your immune system. It helps your lymph system flow. It relieves heartburn, It soothes digestive upset, and all the way around, it helps your liver promote healthy digestion. Dandelion supports liver function by helping stimulate bile production and natural detox pathways. It supports kidney function by acting as a gentle diuretic that reduces water retention. It's rich in antioxidants, which helps protect cells from oxidative stress and damage. It supports your skin health by helping out clear toxins that can contribute to breakups. And remember, if you get eczema, that is an inside job. So dandelion helps your stomach so that you have clear skin. There are two autoimmune diseases of the skin, and dandelion helps you avoid both of them. It supports blood sugar balance by helping regulate glucose metabolism. It supports blood sugar balance. It supports digestion by stimulating digestive juices and reducing bloating. It supports gut health by feeding beneficial bacteria with natural prebiotic compounds. Remember, your probiotics feed your prebiotics in your gut. It promotes healthy metabolism by supporting energy production and nutrient utilization in your mitochondria. It promotes heart health by supporting circulation and overall cardiovascular function. So if you're wondering if dandelion root is good for you, that should prove to you that it's not only good for you, it's a necessity. Then there's curcumin, which is what I take for pain, that helps everything in my body, and it lowers inflammation. It boosts detoxification. It supports my heart. It promotes healthy mood balance. It is a diuretic. So if you're on a diuretic for your heart, then talk to your doctor and let them know you're taking curcumin, because maybe you can't take both. It supports natural weight loss. It boosts cognitive function. It creates youthful, radiant skin. It fights body-wide inflammation, and it supports your joint and your muscle health. Carotenoids, which are the orange fruits and vegetables, sweet potatoes, cantaloupe, winter squash, carrots, pumpkin, tomatoes, papaya, tangerines, watermelon, pumpkins, peppers, kale, greens, and other fruits and vegetables all have carotenoids in them. It is a phytonutrient, and it comes usually in red or orange, but not always. There are some greens that have it. It's super good for your eyes. And remember, the first sign of liver disease is yellows in your eyes. It's super good for your heart, and it's antioxidant protection. Good fats are these that are anti-inflammatory, and they help repair your liver. And they're almonds, avocado, Brazil nuts, cashews, chia seeds, coconut oil, dark chocolate, eggs. From pastured eggs, where he got to eat what he was supposed to eat out on the pasture, he gets to eat berries and grass and bugs, and that's what makes his eggs way healthier than the ones that are cage free. So the quality, pay the extra 10 cents an egg and get a high quality egg. Fatty fish you want from wild fish, because if it is farmed, a lot of times it's got all kinds of crap in it. Flax seeds are good for you, hazelnuts, hemp seeds, macadamia nuts, nut butter, olive oil, pecans, pomegranate seeds, pumpkin seeds, sesame seeds, sunflower oil, sunflower seeds, watermelon seeds aren't on here, but they're really good for you. Tahini, walnut, and yogurt. They help repair your liver. They're detoxifying and liver repairing. Choline. You can take choline again as a supplement, but it also comes from eggs, salmon, chickpeas, grass-fed, grass-finished beef, navy beans, fresh cod, beef or chicken liver. There's your organ meats, and split peas. Cruciferous vegetables, focus on the broccoli family. I love this family of foods. I try to have at least a cup or two every day. Kale, collards, cabbage, Brussels sprouts, broccoli, arugula, Beckon radish, regular radishes. All these are wonderful foods that help repair and heal your liver. And then garlic and onions are great because they're full of sulfur and they're a great detoxifier. There's your whole onion family and artichokes. They all are super good for your liver and help you detoxify. There's a picture of all the carotenoids. And vitamin A regulates how many cells are created, how they grow, and how long they live, how they develop. Vitamin A plays a critical role in the normal formation and maintenance of the heart, and it comes from your carotenoids. Because vitamin A is fat soluble, the body stores excess amounts, particularly in the liver, but those levels can accumulate to a toxic level. So if you're taking a supplement, let your doctor know what you're doing and make sure that you're not taking too much. Nothing compares to getting them from a full food diet. Almonds and sunflower seeds promote liver health. Castor oil packs, we've talked about those a couple of times. You want them to be against your liver with castor oil in it. Chlorella, we've talked about. It converts sunlight to energy in your body. Chocolate. A new study has discovered that dark chocolate helps a fatty liver, at least 70%, but it has to be organic because it's sprayed with all kinds of nasty chemicals. Cocoa beans, which dark chocolate is made from, have flavonoids in them, which have antioxidant qualities. There's a lot of evidence that the liver protective effects are because of the phytochemicals in cocoa, which are polyphenols. Lots of foods have polyphenols, eat them all. And purple vegetables and fruits have polyphenols in them. These compounds have antioxidant actions. They have other biological effects as well. Other foods that will have a similar effect are blueberries. Blackberries are even better than blueberries. They're super potent. Cinnamon, cocoa, and they have also a similar effect on obesity and obesity-related fatty liver. So tips for health, make it 70% or higher, only organic, because you don't want the dirty chemicals along there. And avoid soy lecithin, which is unhealthy, and it's in everything, but it's also in most chocolate candy. So make sure you're not getting soy lecithin when you pick up cocoa or a chocolate bar that's 70% or higher, because it has hexane in it in order to be made, which has formaldehyde in it. Your body doesn't need that. Dates restore and recover the liver. It is something sweet that you can use to cook with that's actually super good for your liver. Magnesium and vitamin D, we've already discussed, they need each other and to work properly. Vitamin E include red peppers, spinach, peanut, and other nuts, which are beneficial with fatty liver disease. It's, again, another antioxidant. So if you take all these different antioxidants, they won't hurt you, but all of them will work together to give you a healthy liver. Top benefits of coffee. I do get 1 cup of coffee a day. It is organic coffee. And it improves my brain health. It turns on my fat burning. It stabilizes my blood sugar. It improves my bowel activity. And it turns on autophagy, which is where my body can clear out zombie and dead cells from my body, which my quercetin and my curcumin also do. So a little bit of coffee is good for you, but don't overstimulate your adrenal glands if you've had an adrenal issue. And make sure you do your stress relieving. Flax seeds. Now, I ended up being sensitive to flax seeds, but I am starting to use them again. A 12-week intervention with flaxseed powder in people with a fatty liver immediately resulted in improvements in liver health. So add flax seeds to your muffins and the things that you're baking and in your seed mixes. Flax seeds are super good for you. And on my website, there is a recipe for seed crackers that use the different colors of flax seeds. And ooh, are they good for you? And they're quite delicious. There's Epsom salts again. Tips for a great night's sleep. We already talked about why you need a full 7 hours of sleep, because your body needs to do the full tune-up. And you need a healthy liver to help you deal with all the junk and the chemicals in your environment. So when you have a healthy liver, your body stays healthy, you don't get sick, and you can feel really good, which is what I want for everybody. So that is the end of class 4. I know it's a lot of information. Um, there will be a transcription of this class, so you can go back and check and you can see the slides if you go back through the tape itself. I want you to follow all of this and do everything you can to rescue your liver, because as goes your liver, goes your health. Class 5 is going to be about the gallbladder and the pancreas. The gallbladder sits right under the liver, and the two of them hold hands and work together. And then they interact with the pancreas, which is where your insulin comes from. And you need a healthy liver, because if you get a sick liver and you get cancer of the pancreas, most people don't survive. So it's all really important that you keep this whole area of your body healthy, and a healthy liver and a healthy gallbladder definitely impact you to have a healthy pancreas. Okay. Thank you very much for joining me. I am very grateful to have you here so that we can share all this information. I'm going to stop the slides. I will be back with class 5. And that's all new information about organs. When we went through all the organs and how the liver impacts them all, we did not do the gallbladder and the pancreas because they're so important. I wanted them to have their own section in my class. So come again, visit me for class 5 coming up next. This was class 4, and I'm delighted to share this information with you because I feel great, and I want that for all of you.